All right. So the recording of this will be shared up on the site as well. So for people that wanted to attend and couldn't make it this morning or evening, depending on where they are. So this is the monthly Lean Coffee for the Lean Change Management Association, and we do this monthly. Sometimes it's based on a particular theme. Sometimes it's just wide open, and this month it's wide open. So using a tool called Lean Coffee Table, and these are the number one voted questions from people that added them to the board. So I'm going to put the what if the change team is just me? I'm going to move that into discussing. And this is pretty cool. So you can set how many minutes you want your chat to go around this one. So I will start at 7 minutes. Seems like a reasonable amount of time for us to chat about this one. And then once the timer is up, we get a chance to say, yes, we want to keep talking about this one. And in order to do that, you need to be on the board on your browser as well. Because once the timer goes up, there'll be a little thumb voting thing that you can click on and decide if we want to keep chatting about this one or not. All right.
Okay.
So we've got, let me make this full screen for me so I can see a little bit better. All right, so the timer is on the right, and what if the change team is just me? So that was Mari's question, who is not online, but let's go ahead and chat about this one. So who has been the Lone Ranger in a change, either as an employee or as a consultant, and what advice might you have if you're solo?
Well, when I've done it before, I try to find like-minded people and find people that are of the same tribe and go from there.
I've never been alone by myself. Then I think you have to think about what is the deal. If you're the only person who have time, energy, whatever, then I wouldn't run. I wouldn't go for that. I mean, I would ask myself, what is the point?
Yeah, it's a good point. What about you, Trish? Have you been solo working on some type of change?
Yeah, it's tough because if you're the lone person, it's hard. It's not other people's priorities, so it's really hard to get that buy-in or that support. So sometimes, in many cases, I've had to sort of put it on the back burner until it becomes, until you can get that buy-in or get people supporting you in the change.
Right.
So it's a difficult one because, change requires more than just one person. So it can be really, depends on other people's priorities. That's the tough one.
Yep.
Tough.
The one thing I've seen, having been solo a couple of times, is the expectation. So it's these people bring this change person or consultant in to fix these people. So it's almost like the expectation right off the bat is that it's not, it's the change person's responsibility to make it work, even when it's formal. So in some cases, previous experiences being an employee in an organization and you want to change something, you're kind of the change team because you're just the person who wants to do this. And I worked in one large organization where, what did they call it? I think they called it the advice process or something. So if you wanted to change something, didn't matter what it was, if it was above, below your pay grade or whatever, that just meant that you owned it. So you had to go and find the people that were impacted by this, and you had to get insights from them, and you had to figure out, what's the broad sweeping effect of this change. And then you can go and do it. And there's obviously some things, you couldn't decide to reorganize your division or something like that. But for things like changing a process or changing a tool or something, and that's often quite difficult. So Colin and Josh, we were talking about the number one voted topic, which was what if the change team is just me? You guys have any thoughts about that, or have you been in that situation?
Yeah, I've been in the situation, currently in the situation. I think that's the understanding of trying to mobilize the leaders and a group of influencers so that the team becomes a little bit bigger than you, and try to leverage that influence to get shared alignment, and then working from there, because you won't be able to do it by yourself, even if you hold the title or responsibility on someone's Gantt chart.
Any thoughts from you, Josh? Because I think you're solo where you're at now, aren't you? No. Okay. There's a little drop down right beside the mute button where you can.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
Thanks. So yeah, we've got I don't know, 6 or 7 people actually on the team, but I'm basically only a facilitator. So I guess I'm trying to wrap my head. We're kind of creating ideas and stuff, but we're just at the beginning. So I mean, we just started part of the canvas, and so I'm just trying to wrap my head like, okay, how's this going to play out? It seems like I'm going to be one out there working with the teams. And I guess what I'm struggling with is, what does it mean to be part of this group, which I think is partly what we're trying to figure out. So I guess it's commitment level. Early on when I started, I said, okay, we have 2 senior levels or C levels. And so I'm like, okay, obviously you guys can't be part of this all the time, or maybe not even a fraction of the time. So what does the commitment level look like? We're going to get together hopefully in the next week to kind of hammer those types of details out, but I still feel like it's going to land on me.
Yeah, I like the idea of using like an orchestrator or an air traffic controller metaphor, especially when the expectation is, even if we haven't had a conversation around expectations, that yes, because you are the change person, you are the one driving this to whatever. And I think small actions. There was one bank I was doing some work with where they bring people in from all the departments, and they talk about what their plan is for the next 6 months or whatever it was. And myself and the other person who were kind of the agile team didn't do that. We just said, well, we don't know, we're not clear why we want to do this as an organization. So we're not going to come in and do this type of thing. And that was quite shocking for this leadership team, but it led to a really good conversation, which was there wasn't enough momentum for this to happen at all. So they just stumbled along with trying some practices on various teams and stuff, and had a conversation around that just said, it's probably just not the right time. It's not, let's not blame the people. Let's not blame the leaders. You can blame me as the change person. I don't care. But it's just not the right time. So let's just wipe the slate clean. Let's go back into the status quo and do a rut for a bit and just get stuff delivered and then decide what to do. And I think that was refreshing for them. So you would need to be logged into the browser, the link that is in the chat, and then you can choose, thumbs up means we want to talk about this for another 4 minutes or so, and end means we would finish this one up and we would move on to the next one. So if you're satisfied that, we've answered this complex question in a short amount of time, then end it. Or if you've got something else to add, click the thumbs up for extend. All right, so there's 4 for end and 0 for extend. All right, so we will end that discussion.